Good evening. I'm here with Councilmember Waddell. Hello, Charlie. How are you tonight?
Nancy, it's great to be here on this beautiful, warm winter evening.
Warm? I don't know what place you're at, but it's not warm. It's very cold.
Well, thanks for being here tonight in spite of where else you could be, and thanks to HCTV for bringing this programming to you.
Our pleasure. Speaking of the cold, let's talk a little bit about if we get some of that white stuff while it's cold.
Thanks for the lead in. Yes, just want to share a couple of things about snow removal. One of the town services that Department of Public Works does so well is snow removal. It is their responsibility for snow removal, sanding the streets, and making certain that you can get to and from your destination even in bad weather.
I don't think anybody does it better than the town, though. I've
done ride-alongs with Mr. Croson, one of the DPW staff, and that man knows how to drive a snow truck. You're right. Every one of those DPW employees does a great job, especially in bad weather. One of the first priorities I want to share with you whenever there's a snow situation is the town's priorities are the main streets, then secondary streets, and then neighborhood streets, kind of in that order. And anytime that there's a snowstorm, DPW's office is manned to take phone calls and manned for emergencies 24/7 during snowstorms. One thing that they do want is your help in handling the snow removal. Some things that the citizens can do to help make their job easy, more efficient, is to avoid parking your cars, if at all possible, on the streets, and especially avoid parking on the cul-de-sacs because they've got some big trucks and the turning radius is kind of a challenge, especially on cul-de-sacs. That way it gives them more room to get closer to the curbs and closer to the snow that they want to remove. Also, snow emergency routes. Please try not to park on the snow emergency routes because in really dire situations, they may have to tow your cars. And a suggestion or kind of a request, if you can remove the snow from the sidewalks, that would help. But a suggestion, wait till the trucks have gone through your neighborhood to plow, because I've been doing the ride-alongs with DPW. I have seen where folks have just finished clearing their sidewalks and the big truck comes through with a great big snow plow and they have to do it again. And also something really critical is if you've got the storm drains, also known as the sewers, if you see that they might be getting blocked up with ice and you've got a snow shovel, kind of clear those away, because when the ice and snow starts to melt, it would have no place to go. So if you can kind of help out in that respect, or mention to DPW that might know what there is a blocked storm drain. For more information on this important subject, you can call the town 703-435-6860 or go to the town's website under Town Services.
Thank you, Charlie. And I know that even though it's still winter, in the spring, the mayor does have a volunteer appreciation night and nominations. Do you want to talk a little bit about the nominations for the awards for this year?
Yes, definitely. One of the special things about Herndon is its people. They've got a number of They've got a number of organizations, and many folks that work in those organizations volunteer their time to make their organization help their folks, help the citizens, and just help out. We've got a lot of volunteers that put in a lot of time and do a lot of great things. The Volunteer Appreciation Night is a night that the town recognizes all those special people who do things for their neighbors, their organizations, and volunteer, like with HCTV, to mention just one of the few organizations. The Volunteer Appreciation Night will be Sunday, April 6th and we'll recognize, again, Herndon's outstanding volunteers. And coincidentally, that week is National Volunteer Week. There are three categories of awards. The first one is for outstanding volunteers, and we're soliciting nominations.
Including teens.
And especially including teens. There are a lot of scouts out there and a lot of folks, scout leaders that volunteer. For outstanding volunteers, the criteria is having performed 100 hours or more of volunteer service during the year. A second category is Distinguished Service Awards, and those are for volunteers who provided extensive community service over several years. We'll have 3 adult and 1 teen volunteer recognized in this year. And the third category is for Distinguished Corporate Service Award, which recognizes businesses that exemplify good corporate citizenship through their volunteering. The nomination, and definitely make certain that you get in the nominations for the folks that you know that have volunteered and served our community. The deadline is Monday, March 3rd, and the details, the nomination forms, and the submission information is on the Herndon Town website at herndon-va.org. .gov, sorry.
That's fine. Thank you, Charlie. And the last thing we have to talk about tonight is next year's budget.
Next year's budget. That's always a fun thing.
Seeking input.
Seeking input. It's kind of goes along with the winter season. Winter season, coincidentally, is also budget season. We're beginning the period where we're soliciting input from the citizens. There will be a public hearing, I think it's 2 weeks from tonight, here on February 11th to get preliminary public input. And if you don't have the time or it's inconvenient, you can also provide input to the town, to us, or email comments to budget@herndon-va.gov.
I understand there's an online form as well.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. For the 1st of April is the due date that the town manager will have the town's budget out. So if you can get your comments, suggestions, anything that you want to share before that time. And there are a couple of other additional public meetings that the budget will be discussed, April 8th and April 22nd. By law, the budget must be prepared and approved by June 30th because it goes into effect July 1st.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we've got tonight. Councilmember Waddell, thank you so much.
Thanks again to you, Nancy, and to the volunteers at HCTV for making this broadcast possible.
You're welcome. And once again, all this information can be found on the town's website at www.herndon-va.gov. And stay warm.
Thank you, Nancy.